Good.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the MakeCode Arcade Advanced stream. I'm Shannon, I'm Shakao on the MakeCode forums.
Daryl.
Oh, I saw a different ordering. Hi, I'm Daryl at Darzu on the forums.
I'm Richard at Richard on the MakeCode forums.
And I'm Joey at JWonderl on the MakeCode forums.
So yesterday and I guess Monday, we went over a specific extension in our extensions category. So if we go to click advanced, get into extensions, we went over this settings blocks extension, right? And does someone want to say, sort of briefly summarize what settings are for?
Yeah, so settings are for saving things from your game so that they persist even if you reload. So it's really great for like if you're trying to save your progress in a long game, or you're trying to save something like a high score. I mean, high score, we do kind of give you a little helper for that in the info category, but sometimes you want to save your own score. You want to save multiple things. So you can do all of that with settings.
Yeah. So today I think we're going to briefly go into this extension. It's this sprite data extension. So click on the extension and it'll reload the editor. And the sprite data extension is another way to store information. It adds a bunch of blocks to your sprites category here in the data section. And it allows you to basically attach custom properties to a sprite. So our sprites have all of these fields by default, right? A sprite has an X, a Y, a velocity, a lifespan, but sometimes you want something specific to your own game. So that might be like a number of lives or a color or something. And so this extension is a way that lets you extend the sprite.
Yeah. So the classic example, the one we see all the times in the forum, is like what Shannon mentioned, having lives for a sprite. So you want to have like multiple enemies, but some are harder to take down than others. So you can have, with this extension, you can actually set that on the individual sprite and check it. So you can keep track of all of those things.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just going to build a game that uses this extension today. And so we were talking before the stream, and I think the idea is that we're going to have a player, and there's going to be, you know, a handful of other sprites on the screen, and you're going to have to catch one of them. So like a sort of like tag, you just have to find which sprite is it and grab them.
Awesome. What do we think that one sprite did?
Yeah.
Well, so my original pitch for this game was that it was going to be called Find Jeremy. And you just had to find the sprite that's named Jeremy. And we would give all the sprites names. Jeremy was just a random name. Maybe we could choose a better one. No offense to Jeremys out there.
All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, let's see, draw our player, which I guess will be a person. So do we have lore for this game? What's our...
So the question that we got in the chat was, how do you import custom artwork or a character into MakeCode Arcade that you made in a different program? So if you go to arcade.makecode.com/developer, you can find some information there about this. We kind of make it intentionally difficult because we don't want everybody to just import sprite sheets. We want to keep, you know, most of the art kind of locked down, but there is a way to do it. Yeah. And this also has information for changing the color palette and things.
Yes.
So yeah, go ahead and check out that link.
Yeah, so it's arcade.makecode.com/developer. All right, so I've made a player sprite. I've renamed it, moving the player with buttons.
Oh, that's adorable.
Like the little arms.
And then I'm going to make a handful of enemy sprites.
I think they're just friends.
Oh, yes, sorry, yes. Cool. Actually, let's just do a 4 repeat. I guess I'll do an array of images and then set each one.
Yeah.
I mean, they could all also look the same, which could be part of the reason why you're having trouble finding Jeremy.
Sure. Yeah. Let's start with that. That's a good idea. Right. So I guess I'll add a new kind. Oops.
So why did you make that change, Shannon?
Oh, yes. So you can't have a variable name that is the same as a sprite kind name. So if I had named this variable friend, I wouldn't have been able to use friend in this kind field. Great. So you can see there's a bunch of friends. They're all in the same place right now. And I will do this. So I'm going to set the very last one to be Jeremy. Cool. And then I'm going to have each of these move in a random direction for now, very, very slowly. Oops.
Yeah, whenever you see one of those triangles on your variable blocks, that means you probably missed a drop down somewhere.
Yes. So the triangle's a warning. Click on it, it'll tell you we've never created a my sprite, and that's because we renamed it to be friend in here.
So another question was, are we going to go over the animation blocks with the set, walking, idle, running, etc.? We're not going to do that on today's stream probably, but that's definitely something we could cover in another stream. If you want, we can kind of make an animation stream day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But those are the old animation APIs, right?
Yeah, they are.
True.
But they kind of do have a use.
Yeah.
Sure.
They're just like more
They're
advanced.
still useful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So little peek behind the curtain for the animation APIs was we originally made those ones. I think they were designed by me and our manager Abhijit. And we found them very useful, but when we showed them to kids, they did not get it at all. Which is why we created the new animation APIs, which are the ones that just kind of take in the animation editor. But we've kept the old ones around because they are kind of useful if you know what they're using. But we're kind of moving away from them in terms of our documentation just because we got so much feedback that they were difficult to use.
Cool. So what I'm doing right now is I just want to be able to show that one of the sprites has a name and none of the others. So I dragged this on overlaps block on sprite of kind player, overlaps other sprite of kind friend. And then when they overlap, sprite, so the friend will say their name. So if you look here, you can see that one of them is Jeremy, no one else has a name. All of these sprites look the same and have the same kind. Cool. So I guess, let's see. Let me add a size to our world to keep these guys from running off.
You could have it so when they hit the wall, they choose a random new direction.
Yeah.
Or just bounce on a
Um,
wall too.
I think I was gonna have them move in straight lines and then randomly like turn. So
Mhm.
every however many steps. Cool. So let's see. All right, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna have them move in either the X or the Y direction. So drag out an if block, drag out this percent chance. With a 50% chance, they're going to move in the VX direction, and with a 50% chance, they're going to move in the VY direction. So this sets the X velocity to either positive or negative, and this sets the Y velocity to either positive or negative. Here, and then on game update, every 1 second, I'm going to loop over all of these friend sprites and have them turn. I think I'm actually going to set it to a fixed velocity. That is either positive or negative.
If you set it to a fixed velocity, though, they're gonna
Overlap.
They're all gonna be on top of each other.
Yeah, that's true. All right.
But if you use that pick random, there's a chance they won't move at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so some of them are significantly slower than the other ones.
Seems okay.
So one thing you could do is if you do it like you were, just having them move in like a fixed speed in one direction, but then add a pick random of like -1 to 1 to just give them a little bit of X or Y direction so that they spread out a little bit.
-1 to 1 also includes 0, right? So I would have to do.
So like some of them would go straight, but then some of them would go slightly up and some would go slightly down.
What do you mean? Sorry.
So what I'm saying is, like you were doing, you set it to a fixed velocity of like 50 or something. And then for the other one, the one that you have set to 0, you put in a random -1 to 1. So it would just make them fan out a little bit.
I see. So they are moving diagonal, but
yeah, that's just a random idea, though. Feel free to disregard it.
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. I think I'm going to try and avoid doing like too much math. So that seems reasonable. All right, M50 is going to be fast. Cool. And then, so I'm going to have them turn randomly. So hopefully they start out slightly overlapped, but as they turn, they will disperse as well. So I'm going to go over all of the friend sprites. So this is our array of sprites of kind, and this will grab all of the sprites in the game that share this kind. And I'm going to loop over them. So for each of our friends, let's see, change. So should I just swap their X and Y based on a percent chance?
I was thinking of just running that same if statement again. You could put that in a function.
Well, so I was thinking of, yeah, we could put that in a function and then also maybe make it so that it's got a 50% inside the 50% for going positive or negative.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Seems reasonable. Let's see. I'm gonna call it. So in here, I'm going to grab all the sprites with the kind friend, and I'm going to use this if statement. And then at the end of our onStart, I will call setFriend, and inside the scheme update, I will also call setFriend. Oh, yes, right. So here, so you see I'm setting the your friend velocity, but this variable here only refers to the very last friend that was created, which happens to be Jeremy. So none of the other ones are moving. So instead, I need to drag out this value variable, which refers to the current friend that we are referring to in this array. Cool. All right, let's see this for a sec. Yeah. And they're only going positive. Haven't added the other if statement that Richard talked about, which is to pick whether the Vx Vy is going to be positive or negative. So
I feel like you could do
via a multiplier.
You could do a 50% chance and then just swap both the x and y sign.
You can't just swap them. You got to multiply them by -1.
Right.
Yeah, so here's what I'm gonna do. Inside this if statement, I'm going to set direction to, all right, so up here, another 50% chance, and 50% chance that it'll be -1, 50% chance that it'll be +1. And then here I'm going to multiply. And I'm also going to move this speed out into a variable so it'll be easier to change later. So up here, we're going to set the speed to 20. And in variables, I need a math block. So this is going to be 20 times either a positive or a negative direction. I'm going to duplicate this and put it here. All right. Yeah, one more block. So right now, if I move around the screen, I can move off screen and then I disappear. So I'm going to go into scene and drag out this camera follow, and we'll have the camera follow the player around the screen. Whoa. All right. I think we really need some ground tiles.
Sorry, could you say that again, Shannon? Your mic is occasionally cutting out.
Oh, okay. I said I think we need some dirt tiles so that it's easy to see.
We have a reference frame. Yeah.
Cool. So I'm going to make these guys move a little bit faster. And then instead of having the sprite say their name, actually, I'm also going to start these guys off at a different position so they're not immediately overlapping.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to move them sort of next to.
You could also do a random, couple random blocks.
Yeah. I want them to show up on screen initially, though. So I guess we could do this.
I mean, you're pretty close to the top left corner of the map right now, I think.
Yep.
Yeah. So I think we start out. So if I go from 0 to screen width for X, and 0 to screen height for Y. So they should start out, yeah, sort of scattered around that initial screen.
They might still start out. Jeremy might still start out on the player, though.
Yeah, there is a chance. Yeah, so I think after I do this win condition, we can add some kind of like countdown. So like a hide and seek, you know, countdown from 10 as the other players go hide, and then you have to go find Jeremy. So here, okay, so that's actually, so now that they're not starting on top of each other, we don't know which one's Jeremy. So if I go around and overlap, got him. So you overlap and the sprite says that he's Jeremy. So instead, I'm going to add a check to see if the friend's name is Jeremy, and if that's the case, we can win the game. So if the sprite data name string equals Jeremy.
I like the smiley face.
Yeah,
They're coming
that's
over
true.
to say hi.
Game. Cool. Oh, and I'm gonna give this a little, so if I hit the plus, it will add a time limit so that once they say something, it'll stop saying it.
They're only
Here's the
smiling when you're
last
around, not all the time.
Say again?
So they're all smiling only when you're around, not when they see other people.
Yes. Yes. We're the favorite.
Yeah, it's a dark world we've created. The source of misery and happiness for all of these non-Jeremies.
Cool. It wasn't. Sorry. All right. So what should we do next?
Well, we now no longer know that the person's name is Jeremy when you win.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So I think it should say something like, "You found Jeremy."
Gosh darn it, you found me.
Yeah.
That won't work.
Yes. I could pause after it.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll work. I like how Jeremy refers to himself in the third person. You'll never find Jeremy.
That'll be our opening next. There we go.
Awesome.
Cool. So let's see. Oh yeah, and then we were gonna add, I guess, a little bit of a pause at the beginning, and maybe some instructions so that the player knows what they need to do.
So I was thinking also, so it's kind of not fair that only Jeremy has a name.
That's true.
So we could give them the rest of them names, and then their names, when you find one of them, they could say like, "Nope, I'm Matilda," or "Sorry, I'm Phil."
Let's come up with some names. So Matilda, definitely.
Richard.
What?
If we do Richard, we have to do all of us, I feel.
Yeah, I mean,
Here we go.
Richard's good.
All right, we shouldn't be thinking this much. Just list out some names.
Horatio.
Bartholomew.
Hercules.
Going very classical. All right, that's pretty good.
Ulysses, Augustus. Oh.
Will I do Ulysses? Gosh, okay, let me zoom out a little bit to clean up this workspace.
Shannon, do you know of any features coming in the nearby future that would help us clean up the workspace?
Yeah, so we're adding the ability to collapse and expand these big, mouth-shaped blocks and also functions. So that will allow you to, once you're done writing a function, you can collapse it and then just sort of put it in a corner of your workspace and it won't get in your way.
Gotcha.
Cool. So then I'm going to, so I'm always going to set this last one to be Jeremy to make sure that we all have a Jeremy. And then I'm going to pick a random name from this list. So to do that.
Maybe Jeremy's more of a title than the actual name.
The Jeremy. Oops, and I should rename this.
Do we have a pick random from array block?
No,
No.
Don't.
Okay.
we did, and then it caused some issues, so I had to remove it.
Oh,
I can talk about it off stream, but I don't know if it's
Yeah, not very.
sounds good.
it caused some MakeCode problems.
All right, so the way to get a random element from a list is you say the list get value at the length of the list minus 1. And that's because our arrays, as I talked about before, start at 0. So this last element is the length minus 1.
This is going to name everyone Ulysses, though.
There's
Yes.
no random.
Whoops. There we go.
Which I'm fine with. It's a strong name.
It is, yeah. It worked out okay for Ulysses, right? In the end.
Wish Ulysses. I don't remember.
Like Grant or the.
No, not that one. No, it did work out okay for him.
All right. So, and then the other sprite will say their name instead of a smiley face. So I'm going to go into text and grab out this join, which is the way to combine two strings together. And then it will say whatever is stored in this name property on the sprite.
Awesome.
Oh man. All right.
Oh, you found Joey.
Ooh.
Oh, there was Daryl.
Ah,
I think it's a
got
little
me
bit hard
again.
for Jeremy right now.
You could add a lot more sprites,
So
right? Just by
yeah,
adding-
so I'm thinking maybe each time you find Jeremy, you get like more friends, and you have to keep going.
What if you change that 4 to 100?
To 100. I don't know if we're ever gonna find Jeremy.
I don't know if this code is gonna. Let's see how this goes. Oh, yep. All right.
Maybe place on random tile too, so it's just anywhere.
Matilda's really popular name. This.
Rolls.
This is great. No, I love this game.
Still Bartholomew, Archibald, Richard. I haven't found a Joey yet in this batch.
Ulysses, Daryl.
Hercules. Come on.
There's got to be a Joey somewhere. There we go.
This was
Yeah.
Joey. Oh
Wait,
no, he's
guys,
gone.
we're looking for Jeremy.
I don't think you're gonna find Jeremy.
He's a lost cause. There we go.
What you could do with this many people is just add Jeremy as one of the names in the array, and then there'll likely be multiple Jeremys. And actually, the more sprites you have, it doesn't get any harder.
Well, I would say though that this game is just 100% nonsense right now, though. Which not a bad thing. Nonsense games can be fun, but I agree with Shannon. I think with Jacqueline, who just posted in our chat, they should start doing things when you overlap with them. So like maybe if you overlap with someone who is not Jeremy, they stop moving. Or maybe when you do finally overlap with Jeremy, Jeremy stops moving, and then we just elect another name from the remaining ones. So we could loop over all of them and choose one random one from the list of arrays, and then if it's not already been caught, we just keep doing that until we found all of our friends.
She did say they could turn into frenemies though, so maybe you like trip them when you run into them.
It's
This is a game about
freeze tag.
This is a game about
friendship.
Okay, we always make games about fighting things, trying to bring people together.
So in this freeze tag version, then we can only have one of each kind, right? Or I guess you could freeze all of the ones with the same name when you tag a representative, but
yeah,
we find a
there's a block for that. There's a get and remove block in arrays.
yeah.
I mean, if we were just
Oh, no,
doing all
I
the
mean
names,
like we can only
just...
have one friend with each name.
Yeah, so there's a get and remove block in arrays, so you can remove the name from the list.
Or just iterate over the list once.
But we can't do this 100, so we're gonna have to, iterate over the list is what.
We don't need a random name if they're just gonna be picking all of them.
Although this is very good. I do appreciate this.
It's the chicken rain effect, you know? It's just so much more fun when you have a gazillion.
All right, so instead of repeating 100 times, I'm going to go over each name in the list and make a friend with that name. So go into variables, grab out our friend names list, set your friend, and then we're just going to set the name to this value. All right, so now we should see, I don't know how long this list is, 12, 15-ish. Yeah. Oh, you can't see their names when they're at the very top. I think maybe if they hit a wall, we should reverse their direction so they bounce.
Yeah.
You just turn on the bounce on walls flag.
Also, if you go into the tile map and you make the top row a wall, then you won't have that issue of it being off screen.
I'm just going to do a wall around all of it. So a wall in the tile map, I'm sure you guys have seen before, is just this red overlay. And it does is it creates an area where the sprite can't walk over. So if I do a square, that just sets the entire border of the screen to be a wall. And you'll see,
some of them are going to start, yeah.
That's easy though. We can just go back to our random position and make sure it's not 0, it's 16 for the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, so you can see these guys are, on the side, but they can't go into the wall. And I also can't go into the wall. So here, instead of going from 0 to screen width, I'm going to start from 16 and also 16 here.
We're setting X, so it'll have to be 24.
24.
Because 16 will still be
out, but yeah.
It'll just overlap a little bit, right? Yeah.
Yes, but they can still go in the opposite direction and either way.
Yeah, okay, so just to be safe, let's make it 24 for both.
So what's happening is we're setting the middle of this friend sprite, which means that if we set the middle to be 16, the head will still be inside the wall. I'll do 24 on each. Well, the next step is, let's see. I'm going to create a variable that is like the current name of the friend you want to find. And this will be, oh, I shouldn't have deleted my random. All right. This will be a random name from our list of names. So friend names and pick random. Right. arrays, the length of friend names -1. Cool. So this is the current name of the friend, and I think the player will say this.
Say, I need to find.
Yeah. So player. And friend to find. Cool. All right, let's see how this goes. I need to find Jeremy. All right. There we go. Okay, this is Archibald.
Maybe we should just make it find Archibald so that it doesn't scroll.
Yeah, that's fair. All right.
Yes, very important. Nice touch.
Yes. So right now, we still win whenever you found Jeremy. And so instead of doing this, we're going to check to see if you found whatever the current saved name is. And then instead of winning, we're going to freeze the sprite and then pick another name. So I'll move this into a function, I guess. It's going to be a very small function. Cool. All right, so the player will set this friend name list. We're going to say it, and then I think we're going to remove this item from the array. So I'm actually going to make a new variable to save the index that we've picked. Or
I think we have a remove element.
Remove by value?
If not, we have get and remove.
Oh, sweet. Yes. Get and remove.
So I think remove value, that one, list remove value at will return the thing it removed.
Perfect. All right, and then I need to call this function. So we're going to pick a name from the list, remove that name from the list so we can't pick it again. The player will say, which friend they need to find. And then in here, we're just going to call this function again. And then instead of Jeremy, we're going to be looking for whatever our friend to find is. And then we're going to say the name of the friend that we found. Here. Cool.
You lost the variable there.
Oh, yeesh. There we go. All right, so Bartholomew. Oh, I also need to stop the velocity, but let's see if this. Oh, all right, I guess I found Bartholomew. Okay, so once we found a friend, I'm going to have that friend stop moving by changing the kind of it to a found friend. And I'm going to maybe also change the color of the friend so that we can see visually. So this is the friend, the other sprite. And I'm going to set the velocity to 0. And then because in this game update function, we are changing the speed of the friend, I need to also change the kind so that it no longer shows up in this array of sprites of kind friend. So, Great. So we went over this block in one of our other streams in one of our randomly generated games. But what it does is it changes all the pixels of one color into a different color. So I'm going to grab the image of our friend. There's our image, and we know that all of our friends are orange, so we're just going to change it to green.
Sure.
Oh, there we go. Okay, so we got one.
Ratio already.
Daryl.
You can't see me.
Oh.
The far side of the map. Got me.
Cool. So this is our game so far. Anything else you guys want to add?
Well, what's going to happen when you run out of names in the list and you find all the friends?
Good point.
I think it'll say find undefined.
Yeah.
All right. So here we're checking when they overlap. We should also check to see if there are any friends left to find. I guess we'll just check it in here. So I'm going to check to see, I'm going to check the length of our friend names list. So drag out an if block. And if the length is 0, that means we've found all of our friends and we'll win the game. Game over, win. And then I'm going to temporarily do a much smaller list of friends.
Matilda and Richard.
Yes. Cool.
Yeah, Matilda and me, we go way back.
There's Matilda and Richard. Here's Richard. Game over.
Nice. It works.
Cool. All right.
All right, so I thought
There's
of
nothing to do
this one. I'm pretty sure it's never been used before. This is a completely original idea. Find my friends.
Oh, what number stream are we on?
22?
3? I think I was 21.
22.
Oh,
I
okay,
think.
so yeah.
We're one behind. It's starting on 0
Oh.
because we missed a stream.
Mm.
So yeah, that's how I always figure it out. Okay, so we can't use Find My Friends because that was obviously a joke and it's probably owned by Apple. So what are some other good names?
Reverse tag? Kind of reverse tag.
What? How is it reverse
No.
tag? Isn't it just tag?
No, because like tag, you're supposed to go for anybody, but this one you're aiming for a specific person.
I think
this is
reverse
just
tag would be everyone
well,
trying to tag
Yeah,
you.
that made sense after.
I think first tag is sardines.
Wait, what?
Sardines isn't really tag though because you don't run after people.
Yeah.
Targeted tag?
Sardines is reverse hide and seek.
That's true too. Yes.
It's maybe something about the order. Like you're finding everyone in a very particular order.
How about regular tag?
Did you say
Totally
regular
normal.
tag?
Forward tag.
Tag where you're the only one that's it.
Tag. Yeah, tag 2.0. Better
Just
tag.
normal tag. Just normal.
I feel
Sounds
like
good.
it needs a TM symbol right there. Yeah, there we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Really binding. But TM, we own that. Pay us a nickel if you use it.
Cool. So does this seem like a good stopping place for today?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems good.
So I think it's worth mentioning that we've used the set data of string and read data of string in this program, but there are a bunch of other data types you can use as well. So I think you can also use number and Boolean. So those are more useful if you're doing things like lives and you want to, take it down as a number and change it. But yeah, I hope this kind of helped everyone to see how this extension is pretty neat and pretty useful. And
yeah. So just as a very quick recap, I guess, this was a game we made to sort of show off what you can do with the sprite data extension, which you get to by clicking Advanced, Extensions, arcade-sprite-data down here. And what we did was we assigned a name. So we used this set sprite data, and then we named the field to a random name from our list. And then when you overlap the sprite, we check. So read the other sprite data name as string, and we see if it's the friend we're looking for, and then we pick another name. So yeah. All right. Well, I'm Shannon. I'm Check How on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Daryl at Darzoo on the MakeCode forums.
I'm Richard in real life and on the forums.
And I'm Joey at JWonderall on the MakeCode forums.
Cool. And we will be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. Oh, and then tomorrow at noon, I think, we're having a special stream.
Yes,
Okay.
it is the Digital All-Stars, which we're doing in partnership with the Microsoft stores. So totally tune in for that.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Cool.